friends, Christy here with Little Roots Ranch, and today we're going to talk about sunflowers. So those of you who know me know that sunflowers are my favorite flowers, but I always consider sunflowers as two different groups, and then one of those groups is two more. So to give a super quick over high level whatever of sunflowers, basically there's like floral sunflowers, the ones that you find that you put in vases or cut flowers, things like that, and those can be multicolored, or you get like the purples, and those are really pretty. They're usually, well, they vary in size, but they're generally about like that size, small, whatever. And so within those ones are single stem and branching, and so branching will continue to produce, and single stem produces a single stem. And so with those ones, I think the most popular one for people who grow flowers for a business is the pro cut flowers, because they're up and out of the ground and ready to cut in 65 days fairly reliably. And you need to succession plant those all throughout the summer, and you will have sunflowers all throughout the summer. With branching sunflowers, same thing. You need to give a little more space. They put out flowers everywhere. A lot of home gardens in the front yards, you'll see them. They're absolutely beautiful. I love those as well. I have both kinds. But behind me, I have, so this guy is not for cut flowers, because you would need a cinder block to be the vase, and I'll show you why. So also, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you know that we've had severe winds in the last 2 days, and this guy is still standing. He stood up to 60-mile-per-hour winds and didn't even flinch. And don't worry, the head falling over, that's normal. But this, if you look at the size, it's bigger than my head. And this head, the sunflower head, is chock full of sunflower seeds. And so I'm gonna give you a better view of that. My poor planting though, I didn't grab my loppers, my big, like whatever, because that guy is tough. And to cut through his stem, I'm not gonna be able to use little trimmers or whatever. I need to put my back into it. So let me go get the loppers. I'll be right back. Okay, well, all of my loppers grew legs and walked away, so I'm gonna try hand clippers. One moment. Actually, the top isn't as thick as the stem. The stems are really strong, obviously. Okay. All right, so I've got me a sunflower, and so one thing that's interesting about sunflowers is that most people think it's one flower, but it's not. There's a scientific word for it, I don't remember it, but it's actually a bunch of little flowers. So if I see all of these, every single one of, I just pulled that one out, but you see every single one of these is a flower. And you can actually just scrape those away. And you see right here, all these, those are sunflowers. So if I were to take this little guy out, so turn my hand around. There's some winds blowing it. But basically, yeah, that's a little sunflower. And so in here, I've got, well, a bunch of sunflowers, which is really cool. And so my job is going to be to scrape, and put this in my pocket. I scrape this all away. These are all the flowers that the bees would eat out of. And also, if you're growing sunflowers and you have problems with birds, what you can do is put a paper bag over them. Because one question I guess I should have addressed is, how do you know when the sunflower is ready? See the back, and it's brown, yellow, whatever? That means that it's ready. When this thing was younger, the back was perfectly green. But you see all of those sunflowers? I wanted to share that because I think it's really cool. But, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, some of them I'll save for next year, but I'm gonna take them, pop them all out, put them in a mason jar, and have some seeds for next year, and then also have some seeds for eating sunflower seeds, which is amazing. Give me just a second and I'll take you inside and show you taking out more of the sunflower seeds. Just a moment. Okay, so I'm inside. Here's one of the sunflower heads. So there's no easy trick as far as how to get the sunflower seeds out. A lot of folks will take two heads and rub them together, or use your thumbs or whatever. You want to make sure that your fingers are not cold because it can like wear out your thumbs pretty quickly. But basically, you just kind of, oops, and I already cleaned the table, so don't worry about that. But you want to get like a little area started because that's the first step. So I'm trying to go here in this little corner, and then you'll notice they're all just coming out kind of with a little bit of a jiggle. And some folks use like a fork or a knife or whatever. But I feel like, I don't know, I like to use my fingers. And so as you can see, all of the sunflowers that are coming out just from that little area, and they get tighter as they get toward the inside. And so I'm not gonna put them in the jar right away because I want to make sure that they are dry because I'm gonna be storing them for a while. So I'll actually leave them out on my counter. I'll put them on paper towels. But if I had the paper towels out already, oops, one fell on the floor, then I feel like I would just ball them up. But anyways, let me do the rest. I'll put it on fast mode so you don't have to watch me the whole time or hear me complain about my thumbs. One moment. Maybe I'll try a fork method too. Okay, I wish I was able to clean the sunflowers as quickly as in this video. But anyways, I did a 50-foot row of sunflowers, and I did have trouble this spring. It was cold and it was unseasonably rainy and all that stuff. And this is just, I grabbed the first head, so I've got several to do, but I kind of wanted to show you the process, and I think it's really neat. I love sunflowers, and I love sunflower seeds, and I love growing them. So anyways. Okay, so I did try using a fork, and I wasn't really happy with the results. I found that I kept piercing some of the, what's it called? Some of the sunflower seeds. And so I think if I were doing a high volume of them, I might try that. But for me, it didn't really, I didn't like that method. I just preferred to go slow. Also, one huge benefit, and this I'd completely forgotten about, is that it's hard to smell the scents of summer, you know, when we're solidly in fall. But when I was doing this, I wish you could smell. I feel like I can smell like the pollen of like a million bees and like almost like a sweet honey-like flower. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I don't think I'm gonna get that smell again until spring. But anyways, if you look down here, you can see all of the sunflowers that I received from this one head of sunflowers. Obviously, it's a lot. Some of them just stayed white. Oh, I don't think you can see that. Just stayed white instead of turning the black and white striped. But you can see how beautiful these sunflowers are. Sunflower seeds. And also I wanted to show you, this is what it looks like after. So if I come in really close, you can just see all those little holes where all the sunflowers used to be. And so it's always interesting to me how one little seed grew into this big plant that produced all these other seeds. So anyways, if you enjoy sunflower seeds, or even as a really easy treat for any of your farm animals, namely chickens, but anybody really, sunflowers are an excellent thing to grow. One, they're beautiful. Two, the bees love them. The sunflowers are coated in bees all year round, or well, not all year round, all summer long, I should say, and multiple bees. Each head will have like 2 to 3, usually bumblebees on them. It's so beautiful. And, you know, these are just awesome. And, you know, sunflowers grow well with absolutely everything. So if you're in a small space or whatnot, if you're local to me, let me know. I'll just give you a couple seeds. But if you have a small area, you wanna, they grow best if you're growing bush beans, perfect. even vining beans, but you got to be careful and make sure the sunflowers have a head start so they're strong enough to support the weight of the beans. But my favorite place to grow sunflowers is in a pumpkin or winter squash patch. And that's because they don't compete at all in any way, and it's so beautiful. So you can take your seeds or your starts, whatever, and set them in, even if it's just 1 and 1 or a whole area or whatever you'd like, and just seed them, and you can water them and let them go. Basically, sunflowers, of course, are drought tolerant. The pumpkins need a little more water, and you'll just have this sea of green, which is all of the pumpkin foliage and stuff like that. And you'll have all these sunflowers popping up. And then after you get your first frost, when everything, or about the time, then you can go in, harvest all your heads, and pull all your pumpkins or whatever. And it's just kind of an amazing thing. So anyways, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Go ahead and give it a like if you wouldn't mind. Thank you for watching, and happy gardening. And I hope you consider growing sunflowers in your garden next year. Thank you. Bye.